how Francis cheated on me.
Seriously, on the first episode?
First episode. That's what we're talking about. If you're tuned in to the podcast, whether iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, make sure to drop us a comment. Leave us a review. We're trying to get to 200 comments by the end of 2020.
Oh, come on, guys. We just need 200 comments by the end of 2020. That's not asking for too much, is it?
It's not. And by the way, family, if you really are family, like a cousin or an aunt, you're obligated, damn it. So subscribe and comment on this damn podcast or you will be disowned.
Period.
We won't disown you. But at the same time, you're family, so you're actually obligated to do this for us.
Yes, so just take the time real quick. Go in there, subscribe. Make sure you put a comment. You can put a like. Just help us out. You got like 3 whole followers right now, so we don't want to look like some scrubs out there.
Yeah, y'all ain't got nothing to do.
Dang.
We're all self-quarantined. Nah, not yet. The stay-at-home orders were lifted.
Well, you Arizonans will be locked down pretty soon, so...
Yo, my folks in Arizona are struggling right now. Way to go. What's his name? Ducey?
Ducey. Look, just think of his name. Ducey.
Doug Ducey.
Ducey.
That sounds like taking a shit. Doug taking a Ducey.
Deuce. And just so you know, this ain't the second wave. This is just the first wave finally hitting you guys. So stay safe. Wear your mask. Social distance. Don't be a chump. Come on, people, man. The coronavirus is real, man. Get that Rona.
That Rona's out here.
Because that heat ain't killing that virus.
So on this podcast, man, we're going to talk about some real stuff. The reason why we wanted to do the podcast, I do a radio show, and a lot of my amazing listeners reach out to me, and they be like, hey, Jello, you and the wife should do a podcast, man. You guys are funny. And I don't really think we're funny. As a matter of fact, I think we're corny as hell most of the time.
We are pretty corny.
We're super corny.
like, the definition of corny is Floyd and Francis.
Listen, it is what it is.
I enjoy being corny.
Hey, look, I got mine, so I don't care about being corny. She married me, so she's stuck with my corny ass for the next however many years. So we decided to do it, man, because it made a lot of sense. I spent a lot of time talking about my wife and her personal issues. She spends a lot of time talking about me and my personal issues to just me. Meanwhile, I broadcast all of our business to crowds of people. And I'm like, why don't you come into my world so you can see what I do and you can see why I put out so much personal information? It's because people don't give a damn about the fake stuff. People want to talk about the fact that, hey, I'm a woman and I go through menstrual cycles and yeast infections and things like that.
I don't know about yeast infections or any of that, but we're a woman. We go through hormonal issues. We go crazy at times. We cry at times, and we make you crazy at times.
I know a lot of women that talk about their yeast infections. It's not a bad thing to talk about it.
Well, we're not going to talk about yeast infections on this podcast.
For the record, I don't think she's ever had one.
Sick.
Have you ever had one?
Actually, I did once. That was
okay.
The first,
Too much. I don't really want.
It was the first time I found that I was pregnant. I had never experienced that, and come to find out, I took a pregnancy test when I was pregnant. So
I don't want to talk about your yeast infection, baby.
Disgusting.
I really don't think people want to hear about it either.
Disgusting.
So, in the beginning of our relationship,
20 years ago, there we go.
And I was really interested in this woman. I mean, look at her. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. I was like, yo, the girl that I marry has to look like Raven Simone. Not Raven Simone now, but Raven Simone, That's So Raven Simone.
That's So Raven, really?
Yeah, and she kind of reminded me of Raven Simone. I'm like, yo, I got to get some of this. What that smell like? So then, I'm joking, babe. So then I was really pursuing her. So this one particular night, Frances and a bunch of her friends were going to have a girls' night hotel party type of getaway at a hotel.
Labor Day weekend.
And they said no guys allowed. Keep in mind, I really like this girl. We were talking a lot on the phone. We actually were talking a lot that particular day when she told me no guys were allowed. I was like, cool, I get it. Have fun with your girls. But if you guys have a change of heart, you invite us over, I'm down. She said, cool, I'll let you know. Turns out that wasn't going to happen. She was like, no guys allowed. Later that night, apparently guys were allowed because some dudes showed up to the party. And there was one particular dude that showed up to the party. So you know how when you're a friend and you trying to go get some, but then you got the friend with you who ain't about to get none, so you take him to the party with you and hope somebody will take him off of your hands so you can go get some. He's like, you need somebody to take one like for the team type thing.
The team?
That's what he was. His name was Byron, and he played for ASU. And somehow, some way, Byron and my beautiful wife over here, Frances, end up getting it in.
I wasn't his wife at that time yet.
Byron did the drop off in the draws, and it was a one night stand. And I was like, wait a minute, what about me? And the whole part is I didn't find out about this until the day before we got married.
It was like 2 days.
But no, it was the day before we got married. I clearly remember because I'm sitting on the couch. Trust me, I'm the one that's got to sit here and think about Byron and his gigantic.
Stop!
Because clearly he plays for ASU and all basketball players have gigantic penises.
That is a lie. But anyways.
Well, Shaq, I saw Shaq's picture. Shaq doesn't have a... You know what? Shaq should be ashamed at his penis size. How are you that big and I got a bigger penis than you, Shaq?
Come on, man. It's not ridiculous. About the size, bro.
I'm just saying, Shaq should not be that... Anyway, we're getting off topic. She waited to tell me the day before we got married that she had a one-night stand with a guy named Byron. Now, she's going to tell you a totally different story, but I promise you mine is completely accurate.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Hit the dream thing, man. I want to go back 20 years. Okay, I meet this guy. Compliments of my friend Kim. She's like, oh my God, sir, there's this guy across the street. His name is D'Angelo Floyd, and he is so awesome.
That's me.
And he reminds me so much of you. You guys are crazy. You guys are fun. You guys sing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not only care, and she's like, come on. So I meet this guy.
By the way, I was the first big dude she had ever laid eyes on and was like, oh my God, that is the sexiest fat man I've ever seen in my life.
I never said that.
If we talk about fat dudes that are just hella sexy, that you definitely got to throw me in that hat.
So here's what happens. I go across the street to meet the guy. He's like super smooth. He has the best game I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Baby, you got to talk on the mic.
Sorry.
You keep on moving.
They're
not going to hear you.
I'm excited to tell the story, my side of the story. And I meet him. He gets on one knee, starts singing. He has all this charisma. He's just hilarious. And we start talking that night. We have a conversation. He gives me his phone number. We're talking. We are talking. You all know what talking means. You get the number. You call the landline. You have conversations. We were in week 2. That's 14 days into talking. Just barely getting to know each other. And it just so happened to be Labor Day. Where this all derives from is I was infatuated with him. 14 days into it, I was infatuated with him. However, my friends were sick and tired of me going.
Breakpoint. Remember what she just said. She was infatuated with me. Okay?
I was infatuated.
Okay, continue,
that
babe.
Doesn't change anything.
Continue.
My friends were sick and tired of me going to their house just to go across the street to hang out with my guy friend that I was talking to. So they felt like I was using them to go see the guy friend across the street.
You were using them.
So we had a girls' weekend. By the way, I'm the youngest person. I'm a freshman. They're all like juniors, and everybody has credit cards, and they could get a hotel. I'm not in charge. So they said, we're going to have a girls' weekend. No guys, because we all had boyfriends. We all had something. No boys. I said,
but I thought I wasn't your boyfriend at the time.
You weren't my boyfriend, but they had couple of them. They had boyfriends.
You see how her story is going super left?
No, listen. So anyways, we all get a room at the hotel. The girl said no boys allowed. I can't make that choice. So I tell him, hey, you and your friend can't come over. His friend Ramses, you boys can't come see us. It's a girls' weekend. So we get to the room. We go out to a club. Me, Lindsay, Nikki, we all are at the room. We go back to the room. And Nikki's boyfriend at the time, named Terrence, he shows up at the hotel. But there's no boys supposed to be.
Can't trust anybody named Terrence, just so you know.
I think his name was Terrence. And he ended up bringing his cousin. His cousin was with him. And next thing you know, Nikki and Kim go to sleep. Me and Lindsay are still awake. We're walking around the hotel. We were in the Buttes, and we were just walking around and having conversation.
Babe, they don't know what the Buttes are. Not everybody knows what the Buttes are.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Not everybody knows.
It's a hotel in Arizona.
It's a hotel in Arizona called the Buttes, but that's irrelevant. So after some time of hanging out, we go back to the room. We all were in a room. Me and Lindsay end up having some fun with each of the...
She was having sex. Just be honest.
I had a one-night stand for the first time in my entire life.
Mom, you hear that? Dad, you hear that? You hear that about your daughter-in-law over here?
It was very safe, all of that nonsense. However, I didn't have a boyfriend. I had just met him. I was talking to him. But he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. I felt very guilty. I felt very gross the next day because it was my first time. My girls were giving me high fives and all that other stuff. But I couldn't really remember all of the details. I couldn't remember everything.
So enlighten me and the people with the details you did remember, babe. Just enlighten us. What details do you remember?
I just remember his name.
Which was what?
Byron.
And what are the other details?
And I do remember that he went to ASU and then he was a basketball player. But
now pause for a second, honey. Pause. How is it that you had a sexual encounter with this random ass dude, and the only details you remember is the fact that his name is Byron and he played basketball for ASU? It's the procedure of it, right? It's so that you can remind me that I'm unathletic. I ain't got no athletic bones in my body. God. I'm not an athlete. I don't got a six pack, but Byron did, and he just so happened to play for one of my favorite colleges, the Arizona State University. Who only remembers those details? She don't remember how big his penis was. She don't remember how tall he was. She don't remember if he had curly hair, Jerry curl, if he was bald headed, if he had a dark Caesar, if he had a kid and play cut, if he had painted fingernails. She doesn't remember anything like that.
I don't remember because it all happened so fast, and I can't remember if I was under the influence or anything. All I remember, the only reason I know the name is because Nikki, she was the friend who always made sure that you never forget what you've done. And Nikki had a problem with saying, "Oh my God, remember when you had a one-night stand with Byron at the hotel?" Byron. And I would be like, "Oh my God, is that his name? Don't bring it up." So she would bring it up all the time. Byron. So I was like, "Oh my God, if my soon-to-be husband finds out about this guy from 20 years ago, it's going to be problems."
So she waited to tell me the day before we got married.
So the only reason that I told him the day before is because something in my soul was telling me that Nikki is going to say on our wedding day, she's going to say, "Oh my God, congratulations for getting married. Can you believe that you guys are married? You remember that one time you had a one-night stand at the hotel with that guy named Byron?" And my fear was you finding that out and not ever knowing who the hell Byron is.
Is it cheating?
It wasn't cheating because you were not my boyfriend.
She's more than a woman to look at me and say, "Listen, if this is really killing you inside, because I was really upset about it, go get you some. Let's clear the slate. Get you some. Come back. We'll get married." When she said that, I was like, "Oh, I got to marry this woman." I mean, what woman would do something like that? Like, she is so solid.
Me, that woman. I'm that woman.
That she'll sacrifice her emotion, her pain, her hurt, knowing that her soon-to-be husband is out doing something like that, and she would have still forgiven me, or so I think.
Well,
because maybe you wouldn't have if the act would have really went down, and I'd have came home. I was like, "Yo, babe, this girl." Last night,
I probably would have ran away. Anyone knowing me, I wouldn't have dealt with it. But you know, the thing about it is, it's just I felt terrible.
Baby, stop moving the table.
Sorry.
Picking up
guys.
the mics.
This is episode 1. I'm learning how to stay my ass still. But you know, he was really emotional about it, and I didn't expect that because I'm like, I didn't even know you. We were like 14 days into it. I didn't know anything about you at that point. But I guess waiting that long makes you just think of like what else maybe. You know,
but it's because I loved you though. That was the main reason why I was even bothered by it, is because I truly loved you.
Would it have hurt you more to find out after the fact or before?
It wouldn't have bothered me if you would have told me in the beginning when it happened.
Well, that didn't happen.
Clearly.
But I made sure to you know, they always say, whatever happens before your marriage should be wiped clean into that next stage. You're going into a marriage. Move forward.
Look, we made it.
I just wanted to move forward.
And we did. We made it 20 years. And I'm not going to tell you about the one night stand I had.
Wait, what?
Back in like 99. I had one.
Was I around?
I'm just joking.
Don't get kicked. Don't do this.
It's a joke.
This is episode 1. They don't need all that.
Hey, listen, make sure to like.
Now I'm hot and flustered.
Comment, subscribe. We need 200 comments. By the end of 2020, we need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And if you're family and you're not liking, commenting to our stuff, you should be ashamed of your damn self.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
'Cause all we feel is good vibes.